Sawyer here from Happy Hunts. Tonight I'm going to show you how to make chicken fried duck. To start this recipe, you're going to need a quarter cup of Italian seasoning, a tablespoon of black pepper, 2 teaspoons salt, 2 teaspoons paprika, 1 teaspoon cayenne pepper, a tablespoon of onion powder, and a tablespoon of garlic powder. And then you're also going to need 3 eggs and 3 cups of flour. And then I forgot it, but you're going to need half a cup of milk. And here is the half cup of milk I had forgotten before I started the video. Okay, to start out, you're going to mix your wet ingredients. So you're going to pour your half cup of milk in with your 3 eggs. And then you're going to give that a little whisk. Alright, after you beat your eggs, you're going to add half your Italian seasoning to your wet, and then your other half to your dry flour. And you're going to repeat that process with all your dry ingredients. You're going to add half to your wet, and then the other half to your dry. Now that you got your seasoning separated half and half between your wet and your dry, you're going to give that a good mix until it's well incorporated with the eggs and the flour. Alright, now that you got your wet mixed and your dry mixed, you're going to set that to the side and we're going to prepare our duck. Start off, if you have your duck in a bowl, or wherever you have it stored, you're going to want to pull it out and pat it dry and get any excess water or moisture off of your bird. You got your bird dried off, you're going to pound it down to be about 1/4 inch thick. You can use a meat mallet. I don't have a meat mallet, so I'm going to use a rolling pin and a piece of plastic wrap to keep it from sticking to the rolling pin. Got all your duck pounded out and flattened, we're going to head over to the stove. Right, now that we're over at the stove, we're going to take a large skillet and add about 1/2 inch of vegetable oil. After you add your oil, you're going to turn your pan on to about medium heat and let that slowly come up to 350. I don't have a thermometer, so I normally just take a little bit of the flour mixture and throw it in there, and if it sizzles, it's hot. I'm going to check to see if it's hot or not yet. I heard it sizzle. It's hot. Now we're ready to bread our duck. Make sure all your ingredients are still well mixed into your wet. Do the same as I drop the fork. Do the same with your dry. Alright, we're going to take 1 duck breast and lay it in our wet. Get it nice and coated. Then we're going to go to our dry and toss it in our dry. And then we're going to go back to our wet. And then our final dip will be back in our dry. Now that you got your bird double dipped, we're going to walk back over to the stove and place this breast and lay it away from you to avoid splashing the oil. Now you can do 2 breasts at a time, but for the purpose of this video, I'm only going to do 1. Now that you got it in your hot oil that's sizzling, you're going to leave it about 3-4 minutes per side, depending on how done you want it. If you overcook it more than 4, it's going to be tough. But make sure you have either a plate or a wire rack or something with paper towels to dry it off after you pull it out of the oil. One more thing. Your tongs will not work unless you give them a few test clicks. It's been about 3.5 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and flip this, hopefully without burning myself. And leave it for another 3.5 minutes. It's been about 3.5 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. Let a little bit of the excess oil drip off. And I'm going to move it over here to this paper towel to let it absorb some of the extra oil. And while it's still hot, this is very important so it'll stick. Add a little bit of salt. Alright, just put the last piece of duck on. So it'll be about 3-4 minutes before we pull these off. And then I'm going to show you a quick recipe for gravy. Alright, for the gravy, you're going to add 3 tablespoons of bacon fat or butter, whichever you prefer. And then you're going to add, once that is melted, helps if I have the heat on. And you just want this on the low heat. You don't want to burn the flour when you add it. You just want to slowly kind of toast it in the fat. Fat, whatever fat you use, is pretty much melted. You're going to add your flour. And you're just going to kind of fry that in your fat. Now that that's been frying for a minute, all you're kind of looking for, you're not really looking for color, you're looking more for like a toasty smell, but not a burnt smell. And once it smells kind of toasty, you'll slowly add 3/4 of a cup of milk. And you just want to keep that moving so nothing sticks and burns on the bottom of your pan. Now that your gravy's done, you can enjoy your chicken fried steak with any sides. I normally serve mine with either mixed vegetables and potatoes, but I think tonight we're going to have mac and cheese and green beans as our side. See you in a minute. 3/4 of a cup of milk. I mean 1.5 cups. And you're just going to stir that. Make sure there's no lumps. Just keep whisking. Whisking, 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 whisking. And then you want it to look about like that. There's still a few clumps in mine, but just keep whisking until there's no clumps. And if you like your gravy a little thinner, add more milk. If you want it a little thicker, let it cook. And it'll also thicken up as it cools. But at this stage, you want to season your gravy with salt and pepper just to taste. I'm going to add a lot of pepper because I like pepper. And I mean a lot of pepper. Still not enough. And then a little bit of salt. This is Tony, one of the other guys from the crew, about to try it.
Chicken fried duck, I guess, right?
Yeah. How is it? Give the people an honest review.
I like this better than chicken fried steak.
Alright. Time to try it. That's really good. Crispy. The meat's still tender. The gravy really makes it good too.